Hello, welcome back to VideoWars, the arcade-RTS game on Xbox Live Indie Games. If you watched the first video that I put up, I think yesterday at this point, you'll be familiar with how it all works. If not, you should probably go and watch that first, because I don't want to tutorialise too much during this. I want to just get on with playing it and explain what I'm doing, rather than the mechanics of the game. So I will put a link around here somewhere on the screen for you to go to the first episode if you haven't watched it. Unfortunately, I deleted the commentary track that I recorded live, so I'm having to do some post-commentary on this. I'm very cross at my own idiocy doing that. But what I'm playing here is the challenge mode, which is the closest this has to a campaign. It's escalating battles. Battles of escalating difficulty. So I think what I'm doing here is basically planting nodes, which are basically my bases, on the money squares. Because I have the same problem in any RTS game I play. I run out of money really, really easily. And it became pretty apparent in the first episode, where I played a skirmish against a 2-star enemy, 2 stars out of 5, that money is a serious issue for me in this as well. And the 2-star enemy absolutely handed my ass to me, which is why I've gone for, hopefully, a more gradual increase in difficulty in this sort of campaign mode. Now, at this point, from what I can tell from what's going on screen, I'm pumping out units. This is before I refined my strategy, but I'm thinking at this point, aim for this double money space at the top here. So I'm putting a node down at the top to try and expand my territory that way, but it doesn't quite reach. And I'm going to have to put down at least one more to expand the territory over there. And then another one actually on that space to hold it. And I think I mentioned at this point that one thing I didn't really articulate in the first episode was when you generate units in this, you have to then launch them by pressing A on a target, anywhere on the map. And the units will then be launched from the nearest of my nodes. So, I tried to send out some units to attack those enemies there, but the units just flew off in a different direction instead. Not tremendously great AI at that point. Almost cost me very dearly, but my turret in the middle of my row of nodes there managed to fend it off. Because turrets they allow you to defend against missiles, which you'll see going on here, and that will become the bane of my life in future episodes, I assure you. But they also double up as a bit of a light bunker. Bunkers are actually more like gun turrets, whereas turrets are, confusingly enough, are sort of like a slightly weaker bunker, or they seem to be weaker, anyway. But at this point, one thing I'm not really doing is sending out much in the way of units. I'm still trying to go for that big money space at the top. In retrospect, probably not the best idea. I pump out a load of units at the bottom here to try and repel this attack. But once you've launched your units at a target, they're then under their own steam. You can't direct them anew at new targets. You can't micro them in real-time strategy fashion, or to use real-time strategy parlance. Also, with the benefit of hindsight, I think going so strongly for that double money space at the top may have been an error. I was spending so much money on nodes trying to get to it that it was probably not worth it in the long run. I'm frantically trying to repair this and pump out some units to repel that attack. And it's basically a stalemate at this point. I'm under constant pressure from the enemy, but I'm also applying a bit of pressure to him as well. So I finally grabbed that money space at the top, so my income should be racking up pretty quickly. But, I was about to remark on this, and now we see its effect in action. I'm actually starting to take multiple missiles at once, and fortunately I'm in a position where I have the sense to build more than one turret, because there does seem to be a slight recharge time on the turret's anti-missile capabilities, and I've fallen afoul of that more than once, I can assure you. But the tide is starting to turn here. My units are actually gradually chipping away at the enemy nodes, and basically I managed to stay strong long enough for my units to gradually win a war of attrition. Then I realised I'd built a load of missiles and not actually launched them. I actually didn't understand the way missiles worked. I thought you hold the right trigger and press the button for missiles and they launch automatically, and it wasn't happening. And I was going, it's a glitch, there's something wrong with the game. I didn't register that actually they're treated like units. You order them constructed, and then you launch them afterwards. So I suddenly went, oh, wait, is this how this works? And launched all the missiles that I'd been trying to build. Anyway, jumped straight into the next game, because the first one was so short. And as usual, I've just basically tried to grab some money spaces. There's one in the top left that I didn't go for straight away, but I suspect I'll probably go for it in a minute. What I am doing, though, is going for some early harassment against the enemy here. I didn't want to be caught on the defensive like I was in that first game. So I'm going for some early harassment. I'm also trying to expand my territory down towards those 2 money spaces in the bottom left. But it's not working spectacularly well. I have built a turret there because I'm so paranoid about missile attacks. But unfortunately, it's my furthest node forward, so I think that's probably an error of judgment. Also, you may have noticed that our units are actually different here. You spawn as a different faction. My territory just popped out around the space I was going for. You spawn as a different faction in each of these challenge levels. And the only difference between the factions is their special ability. We've seen one already double up for those sort of fighter jet things. This one, as you can see in the top left, has the repair all ability, which as far as I can tell repairs all your nodes and bunkers and things. Didn't use it quickly enough though, actually lost a node there, which is a serious problem. And I'm about to lose my only turret, so I'm frantically pumping out units, praying to get enough money to repair this turret. I don't remember whether I do. Will I? Yes. Managed to repel the attack, so repairs will be incoming in a moment. I think at this point I'm thinking, wait until my repair all ability is recharged and then use that, because it's free, money-wise. But, I mean, look at this layout. I have one way of defending against missiles, that is one turret, which is currently badly damaged. I have one bunker, 2 bunkers up the front for a flimsy bit of defence, not tremendously well positioned either. And I have no units on the field. It's not very well laid out. I haven't bothered going... I've launched the missile here, but I suspect the enemy will defend it, yeah. Really should have put a bunker at the top, so I try and throw one down quickly. But I'm taking some damage there anyway. I haven't bothered going for any of these orb spaces. I don't know if you remember me saying, or if I made it clear enough in the first video, but the orb spaces, if you hold them, give you points. And what points do is they're one of the win conditions. You win either by destroying all of your opponent's nodes, or alternatively, by having the highest score when the time runs out. You can see there's a time limit at the top there, in the middle. But for the most part, I find that I don't need to accumulate score. Usually, I win the old-fashioned way by completely steamrolling my enemy. When I win. I should add that caveat there. Anyway, as before, you've noticed, or will probably have noticed, that gradually my unit production, my surprisingly reasonably solid defence, combined with constant unit production, has gradually pushed the enemy back. But this is only the second level of the challenge mode, so things are still pretty easy at this point. They won't remain this way for long, I promise you. So, I think, yeah, I decided to play one more game. And go for a slightly longer episode. Originally I was going to have 1 game per episode, but they're generally 5 minutes long, so here's a third one. You can see there's a double money space right there. Obviously I go for that. I don't remember whether I go for the one immediately below the starting point. No, I go for this orb instead. I think to try and expand my territory forward. I'm not sure why I bother. except that you can only build bunkers on your own territory. I think maybe I was going for that choke point where my cursor's hovering at the moment. Yeah, wanted to secure that with the bunker, thinking this should be easily defensible. Maybe that one at the top as well. And at this point I'm thinking about expanding my territory down towards those 2 money spaces there. But they'll probably be quite difficult to defend, because they're a bit out of the way. And I would have to set up defences down there specially to protect them. Going for a bit of early harass here. And I just noticed that my opponent is accumulating a lot of money. If you look at his wallet in the top right, he doesn't keep it sort of low to bare minimum by constantly buying things like I do. I'm musing over what the shield power does. I think this races robots. So I try it out here and go, oh, right, well it's shielding, but it seems to have stopped my robots actually attacking the enemy. That's weird. And I'll mention at this point that I don't realise until quite late in this game that actually the shield appears wherever your cursor is, so you can shield a building, or you can, I could block, for instance, I could block this narrow access point that they're currently advancing through by whacking a shield down there. Works actually kind of like a force field in StarCraft 2. You could block the ramp with the shield ability, but at this point I have no idea. I think you hit shield and it just shields your units, because I think I was confused by that power of the default race, the sort of jet fighter plane race that the enemy is here, because the special power there applies to your units, and several of the other factional, I suppose, would be a less weird sounding term. Several of the other factional powers also apply to units, so I think I was assuming that here. So far, haven't really managed to apply any pressure. I eventually cracked and went for that other money space up in the top left there, because I felt like I was struggling for cash, as I always do. My turret's taking some fire here, so I begin to brick it a little bit. Frantically spawn units as fast as I can, which is basically a rate of about 1 a minute. But it's alright. Took some damage there, but managed to repel it. My money's accumulating, so really I should be able to do some useful stuff, but what I do instead is hover around doing odds and ends of repairs. Do put a bunker up to re-secure that middle avenue, which is probably a good idea, because that seems to be the main way the enemy are pushing in. But at exactly that moment they start pushing in at the bottom as well, proving that I don't know what I'm talking about, even when I've already watched this before. So they're coming in on 2 flanks at the moment. I mean, really, the sensible choice would be to go around the top way, because they don't have any defences there. But instead, they're just attacking the defended middle and throwing in missiles. Which will probably be the downfall for this enemy. I think I win this game. Through no fault of my own, or I suppose no skill of my own. Decide to go for a missile here because I don't really use them, but he defends it. No great surprise. Throwing out some units here. Throw down a panic bunker at that point, thinking, oh god, they're advancing, I don't have any bunkers. Here I think, if I put down another one here, they can probably attack diagonally across there, and then fire from 2 bunkers can defend it, but it seems bunkers don't attack far enough away for that. So actually that extra bunker that's sitting there now doesn't do that much to protect that avenue in the middle. Very unfortunate. Missiles are starting to come thick and fast, but not too thick and fast, which is lucky since I only have 1 turret, and the recharge time on the turrets would make it difficult. We may in fact see an example of that here. We're like, no, but here we will. That's too fast, and my turret won't recharge, and, yep, take a hit. Fire a bit early there, but it works out. Now I have to blow more of my cash on repairs. Ugh. Watching this back really makes it... This is where I realise that you can shield buildings. Man, my strategy is awful, but somehow through sheer luck I managed to pull that back. Anyway, we'll be back to live commentary the next time round. Thanks for watching. I'm going to try and keep these videos coming thick and fast. Don't want to deprive you of VideoWars too often. If you enjoy watching these, please think about hitting the like button, because not only does it tell me what you like, it also bumps me up the search results, so it helps me keep making content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you the next time.